4 huge Star Trek Strange New Worlds teases Season 3 must deliver answers to. When Star Trek Strange New Worlds premiered, it promised something refreshingly old-fashioned in Trek terms: episodic adventures with modern character depth. Seasons 1 and 2 have more than delivered, balancing action, humor, nostalgia, and bold risks that sometimes even shocked longtime Trekkies. From crossover musicals to time-bending romances, the series has managed to find its unique identity within the sprawling Star Trek universe. But as with any Trek show that truly grips its audience, the mysteries and unresolved teases are what fans are buzzing about as Season 3 looms. Strange New Worlds left several threads dangling, some personal, some galactic, and all carrying the weight of Trek canon in ways that could redefine how we see the pre-Kirk Enterprise era. Here are 4 huge teases from Strange New Worlds that Season 3 absolutely must deliver answers to. 1. The Gorn War is here, but what becomes of Lon and the Federation? The Gorn were reintroduced in Strange New Worlds with a terrifying twist. No longer just slow-moving lizard men as in Kirk's arena, the Gorn are now a predatory species with chilling life cycles and a ruthless military bent. Seasons 1 and 2 built them up as the Federation's looming nightmare, culminating in the shocking Season 2 cliffhanger, the Enterprise under Pike's command being drawn into an all-out Gorn conflict. For Lon, Nooney, and Singh, this war is more than just a battle, it's personal trauma resurfacing. She's one of the few who truly understands the Gorn threat, and her arc has been one of grappling with survivor's guilt and her place in Starfleet. But how does her intimate knowledge of the Gorn affect the war effort? Will she be forced to confront her past more directly, perhaps even leading to an uneasy alliance or diplomacy attempt that tests her limits? And let's not forget canon. By the time of Kirk's era, Starfleet officially doesn't even know what the Gorn look like until the infamous fight on Cestus III. How will the writers reconcile this looming galactic war with that canonical blind spot? Will the Gorn conflict be swept under classified files by Section 31? Will Pike's crew be forced into silence about what they've seen? Season 3 must thread this needle carefully. Fans are eager to see Starfleet clash with the Gorn in earnest, but they also want the payoff to Lon's ongoing emotional journey. If Strange New Worlds fails to resolve this balance, the Gorn could go from one of Trek's greatest reinventions to just another continuity headache. 2. Spock and Chapel's doomed romance. How does it really end? Few arcs in Strange New Worlds sparked as much debate as Spock and Christine Chapel's romance. Their chemistry built across 2 seasons, culminating in a passionate relationship that we all know is destined to collapse. After all, by the time of the original series, Spock and Chapel share only fleeting tension and unrequited longing, not memories of a deep romance. Season 2 ended with their relationship on shaky ground. Chapel chose to pursue her career ambitions, joining the Fellowship with Dr. Corby, a name TOS fans recognize with ominous implications. Spock, torn between duty, identity, and human emotion, was left grappling with heartbreak. But the question remains, how exactly does their relationship unravel, and how will it transform them both? For Spock, this love affair has been pivotal. It forced him to confront his human side in ways he rarely allowed before. Will Season 3 show the heartbreak that ultimately pushes him to bury his emotions deeper, setting up the colder, more logical Vulcan we meet in TOS? For Chapel, her arc seems to be building toward tragedy too. Her connection with Corby is destined to end in disaster. As fans know from the TOS episode, What Are Little Girls Made Of? Season 3 could start laying the groundwork for that heartbreak, giving Chapel's character more agency while explaining why she remains so attached to Spock despite the doomed future. Their love story has been bold, messy, and very un-Vulcan, and Season 3 owes us the resolution that bridges it into the tragic tension of TOS. 3. Pike's knowledge of his fate. Will he find peace or more temptation? From the very first episode, Pike's foreknowledge of his horrific future has been the emotional backbone of Strange New Worlds. His vision of the accident that will confine him to a life-sustaining chair has haunted him and shaped his decisions as captain. Season 2 showed him trying to live with this burden, even opening himself up to love and connection with Captain Battelle, despite knowing their time is limited. But Pike's story still feels unresolved. He continues to walk a line between acceptance and temptation. The Discovery crossover already confirmed that Pike will not try to change his fate, but will he ever truly find peace with it? Season 3 must confront this lingering torment, especially as the Gorn War looms. How does a man destined for tragedy inspire his crew to fight against impossible odds? There's also the question of his relationship with Patel, who was last seen in mortal danger during the Gorn attack. Will Pike's love story serve as one more bittersweet reminder of what he must sacrifice, or could Patel's fate be tied to his acceptance of destiny? Fans know Pike's end, but Strange New Worlds has turned that inevitability into a profound story about choice, courage, and the meaning of leadership. Season 3 must deepen that journey, showing us not just the captain who knows his fate, but the man who teaches others how to live even when the end is certain. 4. The Kirk tease. When will the torch officially pass? Paul Wesley's portrayal of James T. Kirk has been one of the boldest swings in Strange New Worlds. Introduced first through alternate timelines, and later as a younger version of the captain we know, Kirk has slowly been woven into the story. His friendship with Lon and his early interactions with Spock, Uhura, and others have given us glimpses of the man he will become. But Season 2 left us dangling. How much longer will Kirk remain a side character before stepping into his iconic role? We know Pike is still captain of the Enterprise, but canon tells us Kirk will eventually take over. The series seems to be teasing that transition, but how far will they go? Will Season 3 show Kirk proving himself in ways that foreshadow his eventual command? Will we see more of his relationship with Spock begin to form? And most importantly, how will Strange New Worlds balance Pike's story while slowly passing the torch to Trek's most legendary captain? This is a delicate balancing act. Fans love Pike and aren't ready to say goodbye, but Trek canon demands Kirk's rise. Season 3 doesn't need to rush the handoff, but it does need to clarify Kirk's role in this story. Keeping him in the background without purpose risks making his inclusion feel like a stunt instead of the careful buildup of Starfleet's greatest captain. Conclusion: Strange New Worlds stands at a crossroads. Star Trek: Strange New Worlds has been one of the boldest modern Trek experiments, an episodic series with serialized emotional arcs, daring tonal swings, and a willingness to play with canon without being shackled by it. But with Season 3 on the horizon, the show faces its greatest challenge yet, paying off the teases it has carefully laid down. The Gorn War threatens to rewrite Federation history. Spock and Chapel's romance teeters on the edge of inevitable heartbreak. Pike continues to wrestle with destiny, and Kirk's shadow grows larger with each passing episode. Season 3 doesn't need to answer every question definitively, but it must push these threads toward satisfying resolutions. Otherwise, Strange New Worlds risks leaving fans with tantalizing setups and no payoff, a fate worse than a Gorn ambush. If done right though, Season 3 could cement Strange New Worlds not just as a great prequel,